Site of the 2023 College World Series as we are starting to see teams go home. We've got a couple of 2-0 teams and now trying to reserve a spot. In the semifinal match, it'll be either the Volunteers or those guys right there wearing yellow tonight, LSU. An SEC rematch of a game that was played here earlier, and certainly SEC foes on the field hoping to stay alive. The NCAA Men's College World Series is, of course, presented by Capital One. Earlier today, Oral Roberts, the number 4 seed, could not keep that Cinderella slipper on. They were defeated by TCU in a game that had a variety of oddities to it, including replays that lasted forever. But TCU was a winner, and TCU and Florida will meet tomorrow at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Wake Forest is awaiting the winner of this one, LSU and Tennessee. Chris Budden's going to join us shortly down on the field. Welcome inside our booth. It's just a glorious night for baseball. Eduardo Perez and Kyle Peterson. The advantage, if there were one, would be Tennessee because they have depth and they got a really good starting pitcher going tonight. Tell people about him.
Yeah, I mean, Tennessee and Wake Forest, probably the two deepest staffs of this College World Series, and Drew Beam just a sophomore, but a mainstay in this rotation for Tennessee the last 2 years. This is in the Super against Southern Miss, and it may have been his best start of the year. 6 innings, punched out 7, did not give up a run. In fact, in the postseason, Beam has been outstanding, and really over the last 3 or 4 weeks, it feels like a Tennessee pitching staff, and I think a time in the season, Rav, where for them and for this entire pitching staff, you simplify and you just take it one pitch at a time.
One pitch at a time. I understand. No doubt about that. For LSU, look, they have some pitching issues. They're going to win offensively. They're going to have to hit the ball, hit it over the wall, score more runs, not only tonight, the rest of the way. Who's responsible for that?
Dylan Cruz. I mean, he's their leadoff hitter. He's been their catalyst the entire season. And look, when you look at a guy that has 100 hits this season, he's a Golden Spikes finalist. Most importantly, 34 extra base hits to go with those 100. He needs to get on base. If he gets on base, it gets it going for the Tommy Whites and Trey Morgans up this lineup. But the energy has to be there. And so far in this series, 2 for 8. That's not good enough for this guy, and he knows it. We've been spoiled watching him all season long.
We all have been spoiled, and he will be a top 3 Major League draft pick. A whole bunch of them on the field tonight. We can't wait. LSU and Tennessee, let's do it one more time.
Welcome back to the Men's College World Series. Like most players here, Dylan Cruz had the dream of playing professional baseball. That dream was going to have to wait a couple of years because out of high school, he was projected to be a second-round draft pick. So he created a new dream, go to LSU, become the best athlete to ever play at that school, cap it off with a trip to Omaha.
Here he is, Dylan Cruz. I think he's such a great story and ambassador for the college game.
Growing up and watching all the College World Series on TV, it seems like a pretty special place. And as soon as I landed here, I'm soaking in every moment. It's pretty awesome. You know, this is one of my main goals, to come here and compete for a national championship at Omaha.
He's taught me how to be a better player and a better person, a better teammate and a leader, how to live life on and off the field.
He's the best college position player I've ever seen. He's consistent, a leader, teammate, a better person than he is a player, and that's remarkable to say.
Jay Johnson said one of the reasons he accepted the job was because he wanted to coach that guy. And underneath his arm sleeve on his left forearm is a tattoo that him and a couple teammates got. It says, "Always remember." What a memory this would be if they can cap it off with a ring.
It sure would be. Chris, thank you very much. Here is the LSU Tigers batting order. It's presented by Capital One. Cruz is the leadoff guy, and then he's followed by Tommy White. Trey Morgan's in the middle. He's had a nice College World Series, 3 for 7. Dugas, Peloso, Thompson, Jobert, Milazzo, and Pearson. And they'll have to deal with this guy, Drew Beam.
So if Tennessee's going to put somebody out there in a starting role, they're usually going to throw in the mid-90s, and Drew Beam is no different. He's going to be 93 to 96, could show you a little bit more. Strikeouts to innings pitcher a little bit misleading because he's been better as of late. It really was at his best in his last start. He punched out 17 in his last 12 innings in the postseason. Mid-90s with a real curveball, and that's where he'll get a lot of swing and miss.
We got the wind blowing in one more time. It's a big ballpark. Beam has given up some home runs for sure. And that generally, with the wind doing what it's doing, is not going to be a huge factor. So that also favors the pitchers tonight. The outfield has played shallow. It's doing it again so far as they get set to deal with a guy that can't hit it over everyone's head. And that's Dylan Cruz out of Altamont Springs, Florida. 6 feet, 205 pounds. Beam is ready. So is Cruz. And here we go. Just as Kyle said, you like a mid-90s fastball. There it is, 96.
Ball's inside.
In a tournament, 9 of 19 with a homer and 3 doubles. But as Eddie said, the World Series a little slower. Denton's at third. Ahuna's at short. Moore is your second baseman. Blake Burke is at first on the 1-1. That's another one in. Jared Dickey's in left. Hunter Ensley's in center.
2 balls,
Christian
1 strike.
Scott is in right field. And Cal Stark is the catcher tonight. You can see the shadows, which were a challenge for hitters last night, will be a challenge again tonight. Saw it up, swung at it, missed it 2-2.
So go ahead.
One of the few things that he did see yesterday were fastballs up. Yesterday, everything was down in the zone, trying to get him to hit the ball in the ground. Wind is blowing straight in.
You got to be ready on the right side. A terrific opposite field hitter, Cruz. Well, that offer. There we go. Full. He won the Bobby Bregan Award as college baseball's National Collegiate Slugger. And he will be a top 1, 2, or 3 pick, depending on how the teams select and what they can negotiate with him. A 70 grade hit tool, 60 grade arm. Spoils that one. Likely to play center field at the major league level, and for the Pirates and then those at the top, one of the debates going to be, do we take this guy or do we take his teammate Paul Skeens, the pitcher?
Or do you take Langford?
Or do you take Wyatt Langford?
We got to see a few of them here this week, and we'll get to see plenty more.
There's Skeens and another 3-2.
Ball.
Good at bat for Dylan Cruz. Couple foul balls and gets the walk.
On base again, and that's what Dylan Cruz does. Tony Vitello knows the look of this team. This is the 5th time that Tennessee has faced LSU this year. For Cruz, came in with a .569 on base percentage before that leadoff walk.
And that brings up Tommy White, who is not eligible for the draft this year. He'll be a 2024 draft pick. A lot of interest out of high school. No team matched what he thought he was worth, so he too shows up at LSU. He got ahead of Cruz. He gets ahead of White. Two more RBIs get him 100. Cruz has 6 steals, not going anywhere, and a good off-speed pitch that had White way out in front.
There's the good one. There was a few backups to Cruz, but that's the one that we saw more. In fact, it was even bigger last week against Southern Miss.
Another guy that will go the other way. He can wait on it, and Cruz stumbled off first base. The throw behind him was not in time, and it was a little on the inside part of first. He was going and he slipped.
And we've seen a lot of that, especially early in the game. In the games here at the College World Series, they water this infield down mightily as the sun beats down on it. It's hot, it's windy. Lucky to get back.
Yeah, a good throw would got him, and now they throw over. White started his collegiate career at NC State, 27 homers. He broke the freshman record. That's where we got the nickname Tommy Tanks. At the letters, and he is gone. Breaking pitch that came in high and settled in the glove, and that was a strike according to David Savage.
Do we have guys in the big leagues trying to throw that pitch yet?
Yes. Up in the zone? Yes.
I mean, the reaction is always the exact same thing. Nobody ever pulls the trigger because you see it up. Guys are generally didn't intend to throw there, but when you do, it consistently is that approach of the play.
Well, the rule of thumb is when you see the wrinkle, when you see that curveball, you actually sit more to it. As soon as Tommy came up, he was done.
Now Trey Morgan, the first baseman, involved in the biggest play last night when he was thrown out in the 8th inning at home on a bouncer to the third baseman for Wake Forest. And he threw a bounce pass to the catcher. Morgan was tagged. He told everybody after the play red was on, and red as you go on contact. That one sailed all the way to the backstop, and an easy one for Cruz to get to second on. That was just a straight miss there by Cal Stark.
Complete miss, and it's tough to see right now this time of night. We've always said it. Tough time to hit, tough time to defend, and tough time to be an umpire behind the plate as well.
Wild pitch. Now Cruz is in scoring position. Morgan's got 50 RBIs, and they just changed it to a pass ball on the catcher. And Morgan, that's going to get through. Slow jump for Cruz, and the left fielder Dickey was playing shallow, so he will stay at third base. Morgan is aboard with the first hit of the game, and LSU got something cooking here in the first.
That's a nice piece of hitting right there by Trey, going the other way. Yesterday we saw a pitch inside, and he ends up pulling it. This one pitches away, hits it off the end of the bat, has to hold right there. Did not know if Denton was going to be able to field it or not. Now you have runners at the corners with one out.
That literally was off the end of the bat. Big spot now for Gavin Dugas, and a good runner at first in Morgan. Not going, and the first pitch is down 1-0. Dugas at 286, 16 homers, 10 doubles, 43 runs batted in. And a line shot right at the shortstop. Both runners get back. Second out. Well, again, with the wind, you don't know how many runs are going to be scored. You can kind of eliminate home runs relative to early in the World Series when the wind was going the other way and balls were flying over the wall. So runs are likely to be at a premium, and this is a huge spot. 2 outs first inning. Cade Beloso, the DH.
Ball's outside.
How about the defense in the outfield? How shallow they are playing because of the wind.
And you get 2 of these teams. I mean, they're both top 15 in the country in home runs. So they have scored a lot of runs this year off the long ball. And I don't know that happens tonight. You get one down the lines, you got a chance. You hit it from 375 to 375, you better shoot it out of a cannon, because it is not going to fly there tonight.
Yes, he did.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Dean has given up 11 home runs off the fastball this year.
Morgan's at first. He is one of those guys who remembers the last 2 years ending, including him striking out for the second out in the bottom of the 9th in a Hattiesburg Regional. He's off and running. This one is going to the gap. It's going to get down. 1 run's going to come in. Morgan's going to be held on an RBI single from Beloso to make it 1-0 Tigers.
I thought Trey Morgan had a chance to score on that one right there. Ball hit in the gap. Beloso ends up at first base, but Morgan was going on the pitch. And because he was going on this changeup, ends up barreling it in the gap, line drive, beautifully done. Bat head doesn't cut it off at all. Stays in the zone long enough. Really surprised that Morgan was held to third.
Well, then they missed the cut. I mean, if he is running right there, he's safe easy. If they hit the cutoff man, they got a decent chance to get him, but they missed the cutoff man, and Morgan's still standing at third, but the Tigers are on the board.
Yeah, big 2-out hit for Beloso. Here's Thompson now. He squares and tries a safety that goes wide of third.
He's trying to get that down for a base hit with 2 outs. I think it caught Morgan by surprise as well.
He was on third. He wasn't going anywhere.
Well, he squared early, too.
Yeah.
It's a bunt for a hit, and I know that Denton was playing all the way back, but he still showed very early.
Ball.
catch right there by Stark. I mean, that was begging for a backhanded catch. He tried to get in front of it and was able to smother it. See if Jordan Thompson's got a little two-out magic in his bat like Beloso. Not there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Oh, that's the good one right there. And we've seen a few different ones from Beam in the first inning. The one that's kind of hung on the inside part to the right-hander, if that leaks over the middle, that could be trouble. That one right there, that one's going to get a lot of swing and miss.
Thompson did knock in a run on the first meeting against Tennessee. That was game 4, and this is the second bracket. So there's 2 different brackets, of course. College World Series, 8 teams divided into 2 groups of 4. Wake Forest is the #1 overall seed and the #1 in this bracket, obviously. The winner gets them. Florida, the #2 overall seed. And they now will play TCU tomorrow afternoon. 1-2. This one is pulled down the line. It's going to get into the seats.
Beloso was going on that one right there. Delay steal at first base. He shuffled, went. Tried to catch the middle infielders off guard. Trying to manufacture a run here.
They sent Morgan, and he ends up on third on that single. They're a little aggressive here in the first. And Beam ready to deliver a 1-2, his 12th pitch to try to get out of this.
Oh.
Curveball was his big pitch in that regional clincher. He will throw a cutter, changeup. He said he felt it early in the bullpen in that game, and he carried it into the game with him. A lot of times it's the opposite. Pitchers will say that they have terrible bullpens and come out and throw great. 2-2. And Beloso was off. He had that little hesitation jump, and he's now down at second base. And it worked out beautifully because he got away from Stark.
Yeah, 2 delay steal attempts on this one. Shuffle, you go. And Beloso, who last year missed the entire season with ACL surgery, showing a little speed right there, gets a stolen base for it.
Braden Jobert is on deck. This is a huge pitch. 3-2. Got him. And Beam will strand a couple. But LSU does strike first as Cruz touches home. By Capital One. Ahuna, the Kansas transfer, leads things off. Dickey's been outstanding in the middle. Griffin Merritt also having himself a good tournament. Moore, Burke, Denton Scott, Cal Stark. And Nate Ackenhausen. And there was a decision, right? You know, Jay Johnson, who was going to pitch tonight.
Well, Nate Ackenhausen hadn't been in his role this year. But if you're going to pick a time to do it, you might as well now. I think the thought with Ackenhausen is he's been one of their best out of the bullpen.
Yep.
But how far can he go? Of the 15 appearances this year for Ackenhausen, all 15 are out of the bullpen, and he's thrown just 22 1/3 innings all year. If you can get 9 to 12 outs, I think that's a big night, and then you start to piece it together after that. You know you're going to use it. I mean, unless you go out and score 10 in the first. But other than that, you know you're going to use Ackenhausen today. Might as well throw him out there to start this thing.
Out of Eastern Oklahoma State Community College for 2 years. He's always been chasing the ability to play with better players. And like most pitchers, you get ahead, you do a lot better. And that is a ball. He throws the first pitch strike. They slash 183, 269, 196 with a 456 OPS. He gets behind, and the numbers basically double. And a liner right at the shortstop. That's Thompson. Hit hard, but Ahuna is retired.
Sometimes you have to also look at who you're playing against. Tennessee, against left-handed pitching this year, has hit 261 compared to against right-handed pitching, hitting 294. OPS also over 170 points higher from the right side than facing the lefties.
Shares what little intel 2 pitches will get to Ensley, and that is in there for a strike. He's the center fielder. Out of Huntington, Tennessee, 6'1", 200, hitting 284. He's got 6 stolen bases. Next one on the way, popped up, and that's to the seats down the first base line.
Talking to Jay Johnson before the game, one of the reasons he started Ackenhausen, he said, was because he likes his deception, particularly early in the game with the way that the shadows played. Talked with him this morning. He brought Ackenhausen in. He said, go for it. We've won every game that you've pitched in except for 2. So just go for it.
0-2. You hear a grunt there from Ackenhausen. 85 miles an hour came with that grunt. 90 degrees here in Omaha, Nebraska tonight, as the crowd continues to file in for LSU, Tennessee, and missed badly there. Funny, coaches generally don't fall back on a win-loss record, but when it works for you, let's use it.
That's right.
We've won every game you've been in. On the ground to third. That's
those
White.
two.
Knocks it out, except those 2, but we're not going to focus on those 2.
Don't you worry about those 2, though, because 13 of them we did win, and we're going to try to win another one tonight. 2 quick outs here in the first. Line drive that was hit hard by Ahuna. The ground ball there by Ensley.
This tells you how psychological this game is, right?
I think.
Using everything you can as a coach. Make sure your guys are positive.
Well, here's a fascinating story. Jared Dickey, he committed when he was a sophomore in high school. Then he dealt with shoulder surgery. As a junior, he started to put on some weight, and then it got away from him during the COVID pandemic. And there was some lack of motivation and depression, and he didn't want to ever acknowledge it. Finally, he recognized, you know, I need to talk to people about that. And he reached out to his Tennessee coaches. They helped him with it. He dropped a whole bunch of weight, and he's a middle of the bat hitter for the Volunteers. Well done by Tennessee. Well done by Ackenhausen on 9 pitches. A Men's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Toyota. Let's go places. And this is a place to go. This time of year, it is the place to be. You're a baseball fan, Omaha, Nebraska. Every year it delivers. This year's been extra special given the level of competition, the quality of the games, the talent that's on the field. It is indeed the greatest show on dirt. We go to the second inning, must-win game. LSU 1, Tennessee nothing. And Drew Beam bounces one in there. It'll be Braden Jobert, the right fielder, and then Alex Milazzo, who came in late last night as a catcher. He is behind the plate. One ball, 1 strike.
Ball to inside.
That game with the 3 extra base hits for a double, triple, and a home run. He's been getting hot. His teammates could sense it. Hayden Travinski said during the first 2 rounds, Jobert was hitting hard, putting together some productive at-bats. When Joby gets hot, you don't want to throw to him. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
So early returns right here on Beam. I don't know if he's going to throw another 3 or 4 changeups the rest of the game. He threw one. It was hit hard in the first. And the curveball is very good. He could just lean on those 2 to balance it.
2-2. Oh, that was one of the better ones there at 81, and his 3rd strikeout.
Watch where she starts, watch where she ends up. And this is why this one is so good. I mean, it starts right at the letters, and by the time it's getting all the way into Cal start, that thing's just about down in the dirt. That is a real one right there. 3 strikeouts already for Beam.
That's what Tennessee ordered, and Milazzo before we see Pearson. Home plate umpire David Savage now settling back in after taking a walk. Milazzo the junior.
We're gonna play baseball here.
I'm all about that. No balls, 1 strike.
Time. No, hit his bat, but hit his BACK first.
Explained well to Savage to Cal Stark, because he saw it, got him first on the back, then the bat, but he heard the click.
I just love the fact that he was able to spell it that quick right there. It's in the back, then the bat. or better said, the B-A-C-K. Make sure there's no misunderstanding.
Josh Pearson's your left fielder, the 9-hitter. Cruz on deck. He walked, he scored. Lazo stays put. The check swing, foul ball. Ray Johnson took over a couple years ago. Pac-12 Coach of the Year, led the team to the World Series Arizona in 2021. He said, I really wanted to stay at Arizona, but if there was one job, he said it would have been the LSU job that he would have left for. Now, if he was just, say, coaching Tennessee and they got to the World Series, would he have said, there was one job I wanted to go to and it was Tennessee? Or you think it was really one LSU?
That is a different job. I mean, I think there's, everybody's got their different number, 5, 8, 10 in the country, but LSU was always going to be in your top whatever. 3, 5, 8, 10. It's what Skip built and Paul Mainieri continued, and now Jay Johnson in his second year is trying to get one himself.
Beam 3 punch outs, looking for his 4th, and there it is. A fastball by Pearson, strikeout number 4. And to Kyle's point, Bertman was the man. I mean, the man from 84 to 01 with 6 national titles.
Fastball right there for Beam. It was cool. Got a chance to see Skip on the way out of the ballpark after LSU's first game. He had come in, was given an award on the field, which was awesome to see just for the impact that he's had on college baseball. Headed home that night. He's not here tonight. I can guarantee he's watching.
He is locked in. Paul Mainieri won a title in 09. Here's Cruz, and that first pitch is smoked to center field. Ainsley going back in the gap, now to his left, and he ran it down. Take away the wind, and that would have been home run number 18.
Well, KP, you said it, from 375 to 375. There's no way we're going to see a home run right now with that wind, and that was a home run anywhere else.
LSU's got a 1-0 lead over Tennessee, and it was very nearly a 3-0 lead. This ball was crushed.
Yeah, Drew Beam's given up 20 home runs this season, and he thought this would have been 21. But at Charles Schwab Field here in Omaha, it holds up. 26-degree launch angle, 112.3 miles per hour off the bat. The distance, 386.
Griffin Merritt hits one on the line. That's got to get down, and a leadoff man is aboard for the Volunteers as the designated hitter.
Okay, so put that in perspective. It's gusting 20-25 straight out of the southeast, which is essentially from the 408 sign straight to home plate. If you flip that wind, does that go 15 rows deep?
That goes.
It's got to be close.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Now, don't try to pretend that you're actually using math to recognize that's going.
I love the absolutely.
I couldn't even.
No chance.
Yeah.
No chance.
Hey, we're Stanford grads here.
Moore has got 4 homers in a 3-game regional.
Let me just tell you how much it's blowing in. Look where Cruz is playing right now in center field. That's as shallow as we've seen any center fielder so far in this College World Series.
Barrett's ball off. His bat was 109. This one is popped up sky high and drifting towards, yes, the dugout. An excellent effort by Morgan.
If he can't get it, nobody's going to get it.
Yeah, huh? The outfielder, first baseman, makes great catches.
He is as good a defensive first baseman. We got a few of them, but he's as good as you're going to find in the game.
Camberwell busy, incoming Morgan.
Boys, Christian Moore has been on a heater the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I understand the wind's blowing in now. Cruz is pushing a little bit more to the opposite side right now, but if Cruz is playing there with that ball that he hit, he doesn't catch it. He doesn't get there in time. Moore's got juice.
Shades of 2012 at the College World Series where the outfielders are playing.
Here you go.
So to support Kyle's point, Charlotte coach Robert Woodward said about Moore during the regional, it was like he was playing a video game and he had the cheat code turned on.
It was home run in every game.
7 for 10.
Decent.
0-2. Merritt leaning.
Ball up.
And then after the regional, he slowed down a little bit. This is a guy, too, that likes to let the ball get deep. He is a big-time opposite field hitter. 6 of those hits in the regional went oppo. Remember when we started this, though, where the Wake Forest outfielders were playing?
Yeah.
About 10 feet in front of the warning track.
They did change it up, though. I mean, they brought their outfielders in the next game pretty significantly.
They made the adjustment.
And obviously the conditions weren't quite like this either. I mean, we had some decent wind conditions the first few nights, but last night and tonight, you're not going to see too many in the seats.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Moore. Full count.
The danger of playing this shallow right now in the outfield is any ball hitting a gap on the line, it's a triple. It's a stand-up triple. And that's the risk reward that you have playing so shallow.
So the Eastern Oklahoma State Community College that Ackenhausen went to for 2 years is in a town with about 2 stoplights. So you go to school and you play baseball, and that's all you do. Remember Christian McGowan, 7th round pick of the Phillies. Andrew Whaling in Mississippi State. David Sandlin, Oklahoma. All of them went to that school. So he knew they were really good pitchers there, and he wanted to get better and better. And this is on the ground. Thompson, Dugas to first. They turn it.
Eddie, Jordan Thompson's 1-year transition from last year to this year, he has turned himself into a really solid shortstop.
Watch this turn right here. Watch how quick Dugas was with that left foot on the bag. The feed perfect. The turn even better.
Even kind of short-armed it, too.
Really good.
Enough on it.
And here comes Blake Burke. He's the first baseman.
Ball's outside.
Another one that's going to be a souvenir into the seats down the third baseline. Still basking in the sunshine down that area where that LSU fan is covered and a little cooler.
It's a good combo. We got the purple onesie and the tutu.
When you got Burke up, Thompson has moved to where the second baseman plays, and Dugas is now where the shortstop plays. So they line up with White, Dugas, Thompson, and Morgan left to right from where we sit. Oh. Burke pulls one. He's got a chance to get one out with the 16 homers, but it's got to be right down the line. On a 1-2. Ball does not offer. 2-2.
And Burke can beat you with a backside ground ball, too. He's done that a fair amount the second half of the year. The shift shows up, and Tommy White is pushed almost into a deep shortstop position right here. But Blake Burke can shoot it the other way, usually on the ground if he doesn't.
There is that shot the other way. Kyle Peterson on his game, right between Dugas, who is shifted, and Tommy White. And that double play looms large.
He stole something like this year against that shift, and it's generally later in the count. Left on left, I think there's a better chance he's going to do it. But Burke barrels it up, man. It's going to come off hot. He hit a ball 489 feet in the Super Regional. one hop to church behind the parking lot in right field, right into the offering plate, Eddie. You don't see that every day.
Amen.
When I hit the ball into the chop house in Atlanta, there's a waiter, there's a ball in my soup. It's kind of like what we were going for.
Very similar.
No balls, 1 strikes to Denton, the third baseman. Worked, leaning, and now goes back. And that misses. 1 ball, 1 strike. Senior out of Brentwood. Another guy in that 15-16 home run area. He's got 16 of them.
Ball.
Misses away.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Once Tennessee lost, Vitello, their coach, said, be careful what you ask for, because now it's like Little League. You know, you get your uniform muddy and you just keep playing and playing and playing.
If either one of these two teams is going to get through, it's playing 4 days in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Winner here plays tomorrow against Wake. Wake wins, they're on to the finals. The winner of this one beats Wake tomorrow. We'll do it again Thursday.
With a right-handed bat, Thompson's back to his traditional spot at shortstop. Dugas is behind the bag at second base. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Denton with LSU up 1-0. Ackenhausen's an Oklahoma kid. So when it came time to really seek out the schools, he loved the LSU idea. And one of the small things that helped entice him to LSU was Texas was on the schedule. Oklahoma, they don't like Texas very much. And he pitched against them and pitched very well back in February. There is called strike 3, and that ends the inning. Now, most people that follow ESPN know we lost one of our own, 42-year-old Kyle Brown, to the Super Regional in Winston-Salem. The NCAA Men's College World Series, it's presented by Capital One. As we went to break, we said so long to our buddy Kyle Brown. He will, of course, be with us. We reserve a spot for him now for the rest of the time that we're all here doing this stuff. He didn't get a chance to share what a great person he was, family man. And Omaha will never be the same. We start the 3rd inning, and the first pitch swung at by Tommy White. It'll be White, Trey Morgan, and Gavin Dugas, with LSU winning 1-0. So far, the pitchers, Beam and Ackenhausen, have done well in a game that they would like to get a little length out of both. There was a hanger, and this one is sent to right center field. Scott looks up, and now the wind literally blocks the ball from going any further. And Tommy White is retired.
You see the smile on Tommy White's face right there.
That's 2 of them.
That's 2.
That's 2, and it's from the 2 that hit it in the seats the most for LSU.
Yeah, and that's the other defender that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do? So can you adjust and try to hit the ball on a line or low, or you just take your regular swing?
You keep squaring it.
Trey Morgan. Breaking pitch on the corner, strike 1.
This is one player that it doesn't affect much. 9 home runs on the season. He's more of a line drive hitter. He will learn eventually how to be able to lift the ball. He's doing it year by year. I think the future's bright for this kid here. Very good defender at first, can play the outfield as well.
Yeah, Jay Johnson raves about his bat to ball skills too. Just the ability to, when the ball is in the zones, Morgan doesn't miss it very often. That was out of the zone. Doesn't count.
But what I like is he's choked up, right? And then with 2 strikes, it chokes up even more. Knows the value of on base.
Ball.
delayed call, which watching Morgan limp around down there.
I'm not laughing at Morgan. Did you see Beam making sure he got 2 feet in on that?
Yep, he did.
We're going NFL rules tonight.
I did see that.
NFL rules. I mean, you always got to be safe. That was well done. I mean, this is old school Randy Moss. Make the play 2 feet in. My popcorn just spilled all over the place in the booth. That's not ideal.
Off to a good start.
Not ideal.
2-2 to Morgan. He is gone. That is another strikeout, number 5 for a guy that struck out 10 in the regional. And Beam is rolling. Kyle picks up the popcorn, and we remind everyone, you want more coverage of the NCAA Men's College World Series? Interactive Brackets, NCAA.com. It's your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Is there a 5-second rule on popcorn?
There may be a half-inning rule, actually. You don't need to take pictures of this.
Absolute mess.
I'm gonna blame it on Ben.
Ball.
So we sit in these seats up here, and we, of course, at night, you replace the guys that do the day games. Kyle sits in the seat occupied by Ben McDonald, who he's now blaming for the popcorn and now apparently for his lack of ability to hear. That's in there for a strike. What happens when you put those headsets on after Ben has worn them?
What's that? What is the movie where they say turn it up to 11? The speaker, it only goes to 10. Ben turns the headphones up to 11. Every Spinal Tap. That's exactly what it is. He turns it up to 11 before he leaves. Beam's got to go on tonight too. That's 6 punch outs early. Ben, turn it down tomorrow, please. Down.
Welcome back to Omaha. Joined with Jay Johnson. Ackenhausen back out there for the third. What have you seen from him so far?
He's done a great job. He's older. He's poised. We usually win the games he pitches in, so we thought it'd be a good time to pitch him tonight.
You and I joked yesterday that you liked how the wind was blowing in. We've seen 2 balls crushed by Tommy and Dylan. How does the approach change for your hitters when the wind's blowing like it is?
Yeah, you got to be hard and low with your approach. Balls in the air are going to be outs tonight. It's 2 of the strongest guys in college baseball with the most power, and gave it their best bolt, and it didn't come close.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Thanks.
Jay's not a big live guy?
Live?
Yeah.
Like the music group?
No, the interview.
Oh. Why, because it was quick?
Well, they all do it live, don't they? He doesn't do it live. Oh, that was live.
That was live. We're live right now on American television. This pitch right here is actually happening. This is happening in real time.
We can't be back yet.
We're back. That just happened.
He's right. See, there is a low, hard approach that we were kind of discussing.
Easier said than done when you've been having that swing and a lot of success with that swing all season long.
Ackenhausen, and he fell back on the we generally win when he pitches. Scott, Stark, 8-9, and then we'll go to the top of the order, and that is not going to be offered at. 2 balls and a strike. Both these coaches know with these programs in this conference, you definitely have a chance every year to get here, right down the middle, 2-2. Yesterday, Vitello won his first game in Omaha. Tennessee hadn't won a game here since 2001. Oh, did he go? Yes, he did. That's a strikeout. Scott offered, according to the third base umpire. Mr. Moser down there.
We all have done that right there. Shake your head a couple times, say there's no chance I went. And this one could have gone 50-50.
LSU shifts back, so the lefty comes up, they move Thompson to second, Dugas to short, and then they flip back when you get the right-handed bat. Strike 1 to Stark. A game against Texas back in February, 3 1/3, a hit and 4 Ks from Ackenhausen, and he's starting to roll a little bit here. 0-2.
Real close. I'd have to see it the whole way, Cal.
Did you do that a lot? Did you ask the umpires as far as it goes, as high it goes, as low as it goes?
I did. Bobby Gritch one time told me the best advice when you speak to an umpire. You say, I had that 2 inches outside. That was 1 inch outside. Let them know that you know the zone. Don't ask if that was in.
What if
or it was out of the zone? Doesn't matter. You say it with conviction.
It doesn't matter. I've heard that somewhere. What if you're wrong? Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Say it with conviction.
Foul.
How do you feel about the batter asking the umpire about the strike zone?
Me?
Yeah.
I think it's. I mean, I'm all for just good conversation. I think that creates it. Plus, we've got mics all over the place. I like that too. I don't mind it.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Stark.
Ball.
Yeah, I don't even think the hitter should have a right to ask that question.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
You have the catcher negotiating the entire game,
There shouldn't
lobbying.
be negotiating. I don't think the hitter should ask the umpire, because I think the umpire has every right. Hitters, strike zones change every time a different hitter gets in there.
Well, in out doesn't.
Sure it does.
I want my catcher to lobby. In and out doesn't change. Up and down.
Up and down changes. You're starting to. I think you put the idea into the head of the catcher when a hitter says, "Is that a strike?" Now you're kind of telling the catcher too, if I get that pitch and you sort of told that guy that's a strike and then you didn't call it a strike, well then we're going to have a problem here. I always found it odd that the hitter would ask the umpire, was that a strike?
That's why Bobby Grich got upset at a lot of players in the minor leagues as he was a rover with the Angels, and he said, don't ask, tell them.
That is 3 consecutive strikeouts for Nate Ackenhausen.
Yeah, the bottom of the order struggled against Ackenhausen. This one right here, he takes him full, and it would have been ball 4. He chases the ball up in the zone, up and away. Now you get the top of the order, and this is if we're going to see the adjustment now from Ackenhausen second time around, as he's been a reliever the entire season.
With Ahuna. Or is it another strike? Thompson has moved over to second. Dugas now at short.
Boss up.
This guy's been playing since he was 3 years old. Game 3 is the Super. Ahuna hit a home run. Punched a ticket, hugged his dad. From the age of 9 through 12, his Little League teams, and remember, Hawaii always has incredible Little League teams. Well, his always came up a little short in their attempts to get to Williamsport, so after losing in the semifinals throughout his 9, 10, 11, 12 years, Omaha was the next step, and it is now a stop for Maui Ahuna. Behind 1 and 2, and Ackenhausen looking for his 4th straight strikeout. Did not miss by much. Ackenhausen frustrated with that call.
That's pretty good. Can a pitcher ask where it was?
He's right there. He is. He just asked.
He didn't ask. He said.
2-2, and that's over the head of Thompson and into right center field. Good piece of hitting by Ahuna, who's aboard with 2 outs, and it ends the streak of strikeouts, even though Ackenhausen thought he got one at 3.
Laser beams on the second, all right? Seems like a 1-4 to the plate. He's got the quick step off.
Tennessee looking for some action here. Hunter Ensley, the center fielder, grounded out to third his first time up. Ahuna's got 4 steals.
Got it.
That one did hit him, and that'll send Ahuna down to second base. A grazing blow to Ensley and a hit batter. So isn't it amazing that one curveball that was real close doesn't get called? Now you give up a hit, then you hit a batter.
They're trying to go fastball in, and this misses his spot by about 8 inches, just far enough. It didn't catch much, Ensley, but gets enough. So you get the almost punch out to Ahuna. He hits it hard for the second time in the game. 2-out single. Now Ensley's hit. And Dickey, who's been their most consistent all year, coming to the plate.
Get it right, KP. Get it right.
Now what I do?
Wes Johnson or Jay Johnson?
That's Jay Johnson. He's the head coach of LSU. Sometimes he makes mound visits. Past 2 games he's made mound visits. I've called him the pitching coach Wes Johnson, because they do somewhat resemble each other. But I didn't do it tonight. That's Wes Johnson.
Just trying to break the streak here.
He's not on the mound.
Blake Money is warming in the LSU pen for Jared Dickey. Boy, he was lead on that. He popped it sky high. Going out is Thompson. He's called off. Look at where Cruz catches that ball, about 15 feet behind the infield dirt. They will strand 2. Ackenhausen does his job for 3, doesn't give up anything.
Well, it's 1-0 LSU, but Drew Beam has looked the part tonight. We talked about the curveball when we came on the air tonight. Well, the curveball's been pretty good so far. Fastball into the mid-90s, but really the curveball has been what he's used to finish everybody off. Look at that middle finger get right over the top. Really create that finish down and away. 2 strikeouts in the first, 2 in the second, 2 in the third so far for Beam.
He's given up a couple of hits, and one of them was to this guy, Cade Beloso. He had a 2-out hit, an RBI, and that's why LSU is up 1-0.
Ball's outside.
Fastball misses. Beam also had a really strong game earlier this year against Florida. Back on the 8th of April as that one bends in for a strike. 7 innings, he struck out 10. Curveball followed by the fastball right at the knees. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Strike.
Beloso followed by Thompson and then Jobert. Both of those guys struck out.
Ball. Out there. Out there.
Three defenders on the right side of the infield. And Beloso hit that hard. He's 2 for 2. It gets down in front of Scott. And Beloso delivers his 2nd hit of the game. And with nobody out, he's aboard. NBA draft is coming up soon, Thursday night. San Antonio Spurs, they get the top pick. It'll be the Hornets and Trailblazers. Where will Brandon Miller and Scott Henderson land? We're going to find out Thursday at 8 Eastern on ABC, ESPN, ESPN Radio, and the ESPN app. Everyone knows where Wembanyama is going to go. He's going to the Spurs. It's not like baseball where they deal with slots and things. The best player goes to the team that has the #1 pick. Woo! Thompson had a duck out of the way of that.
Well, Beloso has been on base twice, both times same location, right center field line drive. That one was at 104 miles per hour. All you have to do here, if you're Thompson, bunt it towards the first base side.
He did, and it will spin out of the way, and then we'll try a little soccer move from Blake Burke out there.
Try to get it off the end of the bat a little bit more. That one was more barrel. Dropped it a bit as well.
You know, the park sometimes forces you to play the game a little differently.
I'm Burke. I actually play in front of Beloso on this one.
He slipped in front of him just as you said it, and that is a pop-up to the 3rd baseman. Just what we saw last night. Instead of going to first, Thompson ended up hitting it to 3rd in the air.
Okay, rule of thumb here. If there's a runner at first, you bunt towards first base. This one right here, he bunts towards 30, stabs at it, and because he does, drops the head as well. Ball goes straight up, and you end up with an easy bunt right to the 3rd baseman. That's a ball you just have to use those legs, get down, and bunt it towards first base. Make it easy on yourself.
Jobert, this one is on the ground, and that will be Moore. Ahuna, and an easy double play. We'll hear from the Tennessee head coach, Tony Vitello. Loving when his team rolls a double play like that. It's 1-0, bottom four is coming up, and so is he.
Capital One joined now by Tony Vitello and Drew Beam out there. What have you seen from him so far?
He's been good. He's usually one of our most consistent performers. The guys like playing behind him. He works quick, throws strikes. One exception, of course, be to Cruz, who's a dangerous hitter. That's the only run that's scored so far this game. So I think key, obviously, is throw strikes.
Your team has had this knack in the postseason of coming from behind. What is it about the makeup of this dugout that they never lose hope?
I don't know. It makes it more stressful when you do it that way, so it'd be great to get a lead. But I think there's a lot of fight to them, and it kind of represents how the season's gone on. There's been moments of the season where we could have went in a tailspin or given up, but they've had a little bit of grit to them, and I think that has to do with each game we play, too.
I appreciate it, Tony. Thank you.
Thank you.
KB, thank you. So Ackenhausen stays on the mound now, and we're starting to venture into uncharted territory. Fourth inning of work. Griffin Merritt singled his first time up, and he was immediately taken off the bases when Moore hit it with double play. Merritt, Moore, and Burke.
Ball's inside.
It's inside. This was a team, of course, Tennessee, that started SEC play 5-10. And this guy Merritt went to Cincinnati, and he would have returned to the Bearcats, but after 3 years, he said, you know, I can't be doing the same thing I'm doing. And there was some interest from MLB clubs as he grounds one to the shortstop, and he is thrown out. But it wasn't where he wanted to be financially, so he said, I want to win, and I want to win at the highest level. He wanted to go to Omaha. Tennessee was pretty set with outfielders when he looked at them. He planned on trips to Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, OK State, and he never made it south of Knoxville. He committed, and they needed a right-handed bat. They always need an extra outfielder. We're a left-handed, heavy-hitting lineup, and he's fit in beautifully.
18 home runs. Tony Vitello tells a story about 8-10 weeks ago. Merritt wasn't necessarily playing every day, and Griffin Merritt kind of challenged Tony Vitello, said, listen, man, I need to be in this lineup. Why am I not in this lineup? Tony looked at him and said, you know what? Then you're in there every day. From here on out, I'm not taking you out of the lineup. And he hasn't. Now, does that coincide with the run that Merritt has had? I don't know. But yeah, I know that Griffin Merritt has been a big part of this offense moving forward.
0-2 to Moore.
Ball's inside.
And, you know, give Vitello credit, because after that conversation, it wasn't as if he was a house of fire to start. He started 1 for 23. Yeah. He was the player of the year in the AAC at one point. So they kind of believed at some point it's going to show up. Swing and a miss. Boy, Nate Ackenhausen has been unbelievable for them. He picks up his strikeout number 4.
He's now punched out 4. This looked like a changeup that was out away from Christian Moore.
All the changeups have ended up arm side, perfectly located on this one. Tennessee struggled this year against lefties, and Jay Johnson's going to continue with Ackenhausen as much as he can.
Blake Burke. That does not break down. It's a Tennessee offense that scored about 8 runs a game, down about a run and a quarter in the postseason.
Here you go.
1.
Remember Burke's last at bat. LSU was in a shift. Tommy White was pushed over towards the shortstop, but not as far as he is right now. That's exactly where the ball was hit in Burke's first at bat. White was probably 6 to 8 steps to his right that time.
He got jammed here. The first baseman got away from the bag for a second. He got his foot down in time. Boy, Morgan thought about going after that ball, and then he sprinted back, and he felt for that bag with his foot.
See his footwork at the end. Watch his footwork at the end, man. This kid's a magician. He is so good over at first base. Watch this. 1 to the other right at the end, catches it and finishes off. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4. Nate Ackenhausen has been outstanding for the Tigers so far.
So easy, huh? It is 1-0 in favor of the team that is getting a conversation with, talking to, pep talk, keep the ball down. What was that saying?
Forget about the runners. Yeah. Forget about the runners and keep the ball down. Forget about hitting it to center field. Keep the ball down. I think that he was saying, what he's saying is Dillon's ball would have gone out, White's ball would have gone out. Neither one of them did. It ain't flying to center.
Milazzo, Pearson, top of the order. Cruz 1-0, squaring the bunt early, and he bent down, and the strike zone stayed up top. It's 1-1. He's got
to be taken.
Yeah, he was.
David Savage wasn't taken.
Yeah, he brings in the third baseman Denson though, even with the bag now.
Been a very good night for Drew Beam. His pitch count's in great shape. And this is a must-win game for both of these teams to stay alive. A little hanger that is fouled on a play.
Obviously, with 2 strikes, Denton moves back. Excuse me, I said Denson earlier.
Yes, sir. That's a strikeout. That's number 7. This is good production work. We got the menu on Sunday. Full boat, start breakfast, little tea, crumpets, London, Cubs and Cardinals.
Here's the good stuff.
The ribeye at Omaha, Nebraska, the lunch. That's the game 2 of the Men's College World Series. That's the final. So the series could end with the game starting at 3. And then Eduardo and David Cohn will be burying Dodger Dog Sunday night in LA.
As if you won't be.
Say, it's not just a ribeye.
Whiskey.
Whiskey.
Yeah. What do you do there? You just let it sit in the whiskey for a while? What is that?
It's marinated. Drove, huh?
So yeah, so it sits in it overnight. How long do you leave it in there?
Like 10, 12 minutes.
Oh, that's it.
Yep.
Great. Kyle is absolutely the best grill guy I've been around. 2-1. Just a master of the
rare.
I was gonna say very rare. I love that. Very rare steaks.
Seared.
So you can taste them. Flavorful.
Oh, God. There you go. So it's 2 balls, 2 strikes.
If you order your steak well done, we probably wouldn't get along very well.
And that's where Eduardo and I often have friction.
You can have a little friction. It's okay.
But I will say this, Kyle. He's a little uncomfortable when he orders it around people. He will bring the waiter to his ear and whisper.
He should.
Eight strikeouts for Drew Beam.
He's finished him with the fastball the last 2 times, too. Milazzo was the fastball looking. Now, Pearson, I think guys are so dialed up for that breaking ball right now, but that one, you're usually going to try to force it up, make sure it's up. That was started down in the zone, just kept going. 8 strikeouts now, 2 each in the first, second, third, and fifth for Drew Beam.
6'4", over 200 pounds. He looks like a football player out there. And you know what? He was once a football player. He was a quarterback, QB1, a 2-sport star. Blackman High School in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Same hometown of David Price. Is your steak done? Is that the alarm?
Yeah. That means you should have taken it off 4 minutes ago.
0-2 to Dylan Cruz, trying to punch out the side. No, liner, and that thing was smoked. Moore went over there, and it got on him quick. Had to be another 100+ off the bat of Cruz.
It was, and I'll tell you this. So you look at the game of adjustments here. He's like, okay, I'm not going to hit it in the air. Let me hit it on a linea. Does exactly that. The bat path takes him at 106.2 miles per hour off the bat. He gets on, and when he gets on, Tommy White usually turns it on as well. It's 671 when Tommy White is up and Dylan Cruz is on base.
That didn't feel like a line drive ground ball swing there. Here's the numbers that Eduardo was talking about. Cruz is on at 671.
He's social. He likes company.
Ball, it's outside.
Well, you saw why major league teams, especially those at the top, are seriously considering taking Dylan Cruz as #1. LSU, like a lot of programs, man, they run eye tests to see if there's a dominant eye. Cruz showed no imbalances, equally dominant, pick up pitches equally, right hand, left hand. That one's out of play. One of the people involved in the testing of just the eyes said, I don't know who Dylan Cruz is. He's off the charts.
They were right.
He basically, because of that, gets about another 0.25 seconds to identify a pitch. Talk about an advantage. He's off.
I got you. I got you.
That ball was fouled at the plate. LSU continues when they get a guy on to be aggressive. Very, very spread out stance for Tommy White. Pitch out, and Cruz gets back. Got away with one, hung in the zone, unless it doesn't get to the seats, but it will.
That's when you love to win. Anything up, straight, back. Come on, Lynn, keep blowing. Even though Cruz only has 6 stolen bases in the year, if this ball is in the gap, 2 outs, it's going to be fun to watch him run as well.
Jay Johnson says Cruz is the best opposite field hitter he's ever seen, right there with Chris Bryant. And then he also says this guy is as good as anybody going the other way. Johnson has seen some athletic players.
Tommy White will wear you out to right center.
Yep. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down in a 1-0 game. He chased, and that's it. Look at Bean bounce off the mound. He's got 8. 9 now punch-outs. 3 in the inning. Images from the night. Pitchers have been really the story. Drew Beam has been locked in. The high school quarterback is throwing darts. And this guy didn't know how long they'd get out of Nate Ackenhausen. Equally outstanding. He's got 4 strikeouts. Beam's got 9. The wind is blowing in. And as a result, we've got 1 run, 7 hits. No errors. In a game that you got to win if you want to stay alive here. As you take a look at the lines for both. Ackenhausen 20 fewer pitches, but 1/2 inning less. And he starts with a breaking ball. It's been a get-ahead pitch for him up in the zone.
Ackenhausen, this now the longest outing of his career at LSU. 3 2/3 earlier this year against South Carolina, now working into the 5th.
And quickly, Zane Denton is in a 0-2 hole. He struck out, as did Scott and Stark, due up this inning. Punch-outs. Ackenhausen showing no signs of slowing down. He's going up and down, changing eye levels.
And he's pitched east-west. You're correct about that, Ravi. And this one, the changeup, mostly stayed away arm side most of the afternoon. Now, this one just down. Good vertical drop on it.
Left on left, Christian Scott, the right fielder. Is there a balance, Kyle? I know you keep throwing, but for a guy that hasn't pitched a lot, and now you're starting to get strikeouts, not to fall into the pattern of needing to get strikeouts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's pitching away from the bat. I think when he gets in a 2-strike count, he's trying to finish him off with a swing and miss. So it doesn't feel like he's afraid of contact. Honestly, it just feels like he's getting to a bunch of 2-strike counts.
Yeah.
I mean, this is phenomenal, man. For a kid that doesn't have a start all year, you've relied on him out of the bullpen. Sometimes in matchup spots, sometimes take him a little bit longer. But again, it was 4 1/3 innings, 66 pitches, each career highs for Ackenhausen on a pretty important night.
That one sails in. Now, when he was at that community college, in his first year, he came out of the bullpen. But in his second year, he did start 10 games. And he had a 1.84 ERA. You step up a level in competition, you go back to the bullpen instead of being on the starting staff. But again, Ackenhausen's whole goal was to be at the best programs because he knows the only way to get better is to be around better players. And he's rising. Two and two to Scott. This ball is again hit hard. The outfielder Cruz was way in, but look where he ends up. And then instead of going back, he almost starts to head back in.
22 to 25 miles per hour wind blowing in, straight in. Dylan Cruz does not panic whatsoever. He knows what this wind is doing to the hitters in the baseball. Makes it look easy.
It's always been a near impossible center field, regardless of the wind to hit it out of. But this week in particular, it is absolutely where baseballs go to rest in peace. They are not leaving the yard. 0-1 Cal Stark. Ackenhausen getting ahead. Ball. Ball. Tennessee team that has averaged 284 on the year with 126 homers, and they have been absolutely kept in check tonight by Nate.
That's a big reason why.
Inside heat.
Yeah,
bet him up.
But he has not been afraid to throw the fastball in on guys' hands. And a lot of times it's fastball in on his hands to get to a 2-strike count, then it's off speed to finish. But for righties and lefties, and he's, I mean, right around 90, 91, but he has stuck it when he wants to go inside.
Timeout. Timeout called. You can hear Cal Stark saying. And
now I ask you, KP, how many lefties in NCAA are able to pitch inside?
Go glove side and stick it?
Yeah. Consistent.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some, but I think you know, generally you're going to want to stay away, especially if it's not an overpowering fastball. And I don't think that's always the right move. If you can stick it inside black, not a lot of guys, even if they get to it, not a lot are going to keep it fair.
time.
Oh,
he do that
out there.
Savage didn't agree. It certainly looked a little bit like Stark leaned into that one and did very little to get out of the way of it. But he's hit by the pitch, and he'll go to first with 2 down.
I thought he stuck it out there. You tell me.
I don't think so.
No?
No. Respect you guys immensely, but I don't think he did that. The rule is you don't have to move. You just can't initiate contact. So like you guys were saying, you can't move into it.
I don't think
I didn't feel like he did that.
No. Did not on the replay.
You guys just disagreed with yourselves.
This one is driven to the gap in left, and that's going to send Pearson over there. He's not going to get it. Here goes Stark to third, and he is held there on the relay that was cut. There would have been a play, but it was cut deep into the outfield, and it would have been a long throw. Double for Ahuna, second hit, second and third, 2 down.
I'll tell you what, I was a little surprised he stopped him here again. Both third base coaches in this game have been able to hold the runners with 2 outs in this situation right here. It had to be a perfect throw at home to get him. Holds him right there with 2 outs. Now runners at second and third, still down 1.
Now the biggest threat and the biggest spot of this game for Ackenhausen and Hunter Ensley.
I don't think he's going to face him.
You got Blake Money, the righty, and Coleman, the lefty, that are warming.
And he's giving you everything you would want from Ackenhausen tonight. He worked you into the 5th inning. There's still a 0 on the board, and he's in waters that he has not been in as a starter at LSU.
Guess what?
Way to go, Peterson. Wrong again. This one surprises me.
It's a huge decision.
Your 3rd time around the order. Ensley's seen him twice. I mean, listen, man, he's looked apart. He's been great the whole night. It's not a knock on what's happened. It's just he hasn't done this yet this year, and the stuff isn't going to be as sharp as it was before.
All right, here's Ensley, 2nd and 3rd, and a bouncer. What a job with the runner at 3rd, Stark, coming halfway down the line.
That's a great job right there. Keeping it in front of you, especially with the runner at 3rd. Watch where this ball bounces. Way out there. You've got to get high, right off the chest protector.
A hit batter with 2 outs, then a double. 2nd and 3rd, Ensley. Outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
Okay, this is interesting right here. You have the lead 1-0, but you do have a lefty on deck, and that lefty is Jared Dickey.
Popped up and playable. Gilbert's under it, and Ackenhausen will walk off, having given up nothing. He will strand 2, gets a punch in the chest from his catcher. What an excellent outing from Nate Ackenhausen when LSU needed it most.
Baby, I was born for this.
Some popcorn. We are at the College World Series. KP, look,
spill it.
Keeps it in the box. It's
wind not affecting their popcorn as much as it was mine.
Not at all. Wait a minute.
Oh, no.
The image of the popcorn spill now on the screen.
Yeah,
that was Ben.
No, that's the belt that you're wearing right now.
Oh. And the hit.
I did appear to do that, but it was still Ben.
We can't take you anywhere.
Second.
That is Kyle Peterson, Eduardo Perez, Carl Ravitch, and Chris Budden. LSU 1, Tennessee nothing. 6th inning.
There you go. I'm pulling out my ball.
Drew Beam and Nate Ackenhausen have been cleaning up, so to speak. The domesticated KP. We don't get to see this side of you a lot.
Where can you hide around here?
We know it's in you.
You can't.
Good Lord.
0-2, slap the other way, and this one is down the line and to the wall. Morgan to 2nd, ball picked up, and he will stand there. Leadoff double.
Wish you'd choke up and go the other way, Guy Eddie.
There it is right there. Leadoff double. Pitch away, goes with it away. No stride. Beautifully done. This kid has used the entire field here in Omaha, peppering the ball from line to line.
96 off the bat. He's been their best hitter. Single and a double tonight. And now the corners come in. Dugas, cleanup hitter up. Early square, perfect bunt. Well, it may have gone foul. They field it and they throw it away. That will bring the run in, and Dugas will go to 2nd. Zane Denton not to depict the ball up, and it looked like it had a chance to go foul. It's 2-0 Tigers.
Shades of Jay Johnson actually being the head coach of Arizona the first time he came here to Omaha. Using the small ball. Wind blowing in. Dugas, who's now the cleanup hitter. He was the leadoff hitter at the beginning of the season. He knows how to butt. Beautifully done. Forces the defense right here. Trading places with Trey Morgan and adding a run with that.
Single and an error charge to Denton to make it 2-0. Did you guys think that was going to roll foul?
I thought it was worth taking a chance. Yeah.
I think they miscalculated on Dugas's speed down the line. No matter what, he was going to beat it out.
But worst comes to worst, he's at first and third. You're not having a run come in.
Yeah, but you don't know that he's going to throw it away. He would still eat it right there. And the problem is when you're at second base, you don't field the ball from where it's at. Like a first baseman, you have to have that left foot on the bag, and then that was the tough part right there for Moore to make the play.
So let's just think about the last half inning where you had second and third. You could not get the run in. And then you start this half inning off with a double and an error.
There's been zero activity down in the Tennessee bullpen. And this is Beam's game.
I'll tell you another thing that's going to happen. Beloso's not going to bunt. Already 2 really good at-bats. 2 line drives over Moore at second. Over 100 miles per hour both times.
Singled in the first, drove in a run. Singled in the fourth.
Ball outside. Move it around.
One of the challenges, again, of being in the loser's bracket. You know, you have a guy like Beam, and you know that if you win, you're playing again tomorrow night. If you win the next night, you don't have the luxury of using your arms out there. That's bounced in there. That's why Ackenhausen's start was so huge for LSU. And they've been banged up in that bullpen for most of the season with a couple of guys. 2-0. 3-0.
All this is going to set up if Beloso does walk right here as Thompson has the ability to bunt. They're going to play small ball, especially with the conditions here tonight.
It does look like now there's some activity in that Volunteer bullpen. He pulled that. That's ball 4. He walked the leadoff man Cruz to start the game. And this is the second walk that he's issued tonight. So 1 to start the game, and then doesn't walk anybody until the 6th. Looks like A.J. Russell was up there throwing in the Tennessee pen. That is. Well, LSU's going to try to add here. Jordan Thompson.
See where Thompson's at right now. He has to move up. He has to move towards the pitcher to open it up a little bit more so he does not put pressure on himself when he bunts. Last time he popped it up where he should have bunted towards first base. This time you have to bunt towards third, but you have to move up in the box towards the pitcher.
Easy one for Drew Beam and a mistake from Jordan Thompson.
Fundamentally not sound at all. The first time he was supposed to bunt towards first, he bunted towards third. Watch the bat head drop as he also stabs at the ball. And then this time has to bunt towards third, drops the head once again. And the problem is there, you have to move towards the pitcher, open it up, make it a lot easier for yourself.
Only 1 out for Braden Gilbert. Behind 0-1. An LSU fan his entire life. Gilbert gets one on the ground. Slow roller. Only 1 play for the first baseman Burke, and that's step on first. Dugas to third. Beloso to second. 2 down. And now the catcher Milazzo, who got hit by a pitch and then flew out. I should say struck out. Looks like Vitello was determined to walk out there, and he is. He started that shot and then he kept on going. We're going to take a break. Pitching change is being made. A.J. Russell is coming in. Tigers got a 2-0 lead, still threatening with 2 down here in the 6th.
I got it, Rev. Don't worry. I got it. Drew Beam had it tonight, too. 9 strikeouts for Beam. Talked about how good the breaking ball was. The breaking ball was outstanding the entire night. Later on, he was using the fastball to finish guys off, but it was really just 2 pitches. He gave up a hit on the changeup in the first. I don't know if he threw another one after that. For the sophomore right-hander, 5 2/3, 6 hits. 2 runs, just 1 earned. Walked 2, punched out 9, but responsible for both guys on it. He'll give way to a freshman right-hander that got a chance to be in this rotation next year. A.J. Russell's got a whole lot of talent. It's a low to mid-90s fastball against righties, which he will be here. It is solely fastball slider. In fact, generally is to both. 46 strikeouts, just 7 walks for the freshman in 29 innings.
So Russell will take over with runners at second and third base in a 2-0 game, trying to keep it there. And it feels really important in this ballpark tonight to keep it at 2, not let it grow. And that's nasty at 95. Six feet 6 inches on that mound to Milazzo.
Ball, it's outside. Ball, 1 strike. Ball.
Tried a slider there and it didn't work. 2 balls and a strike. Bottom of the order needs to come through here for the Tigers. After Thompson couldn't get the bunt down, Jobert rolled over to first, moved the runners up.
That'll play.
This kid's got a whole lot of upside.
Ball.
Got that 3/4 arm sort of slot. A little Matt Clement. Remember how filthy Matt Clement was?
Slinging from there.
It feels like with AJ. And that's out of play. Dugas off third, Beloso there in your shot off second, and the 3-2. Another one that has popped out of play. Given the long ball's basically been reduced to rubble tonight. 2-0 lead feels large. Anything more would feel almost insurmountable. 3-2. And this is playable on the infield, and an easy one for Burke. Look out, base runner was right by him, and he makes the play. They will strand 2. They do get 1 though after the Morgan double. He comes in to score. Beam, Vitello, we're in it. It's 2-zip. And they win by 1. Wake Forest in the driver's seat in bracket 2 at 2-0. They've done it really without great starts from Hartle or Lauder. Straight back up here. KP stands, not going to get here.
KP, that's false hustle. That's false hustle right there.
I thought it looked good.
Wake Forest has announced Seth Keener will go in the potential game to get yourselves to the World Series final.
Ooh, they have options.
Lots of them.
They have options behind him.
They have a lab. Jared Dickey trying to get some runners on, and that's pulled and foul. Again, Thompson and Dugas switch positions at short and second with a lefty up.
I am surprised that the lefty is still on the mound.
This is last hitter. I think this, he just wants to get
one left on left to get Dickey.
Left on left. Got two righties coming up after him.
Money and Coleman still out there, and Dickey 0-2. Thought about it. A lot of broccoli, a lot of rice, and chicken. Pretty much that was it for a while for this guy, Jared Dickey. And he's punched out there. So if that's it, Ackenhausen will leave and get a massive ovation from his teammates, given what he's done tonight. That's strikeout 6.
Well,
maybe Dickey didn't argue it a bit, though. He started to step out. They didn't say a word.
Well, both Wes Johnson and Coach Johnson both had that conversation. They're like, let's give him one more hitter. They looked at each other, and then the conversation went to the bullpen.
They're not making any solid contact as you take a look at the former Little League World Series star, Blake Money. 0-1. This is a pitcher who's out there throwing, saying, nope, nope, not coming to get me. Up, down, in, and out. Beaten onto the ground, and the shortstop gets a good hop. Thompson, 2 down here in the 6th.
You know, he doubled up right there, Eddie, and he hadn't doubled up with that one very much. He went fastball in to get strike 2, and then went right back to it. He missed the spot a little. It leaked out over the plate, but it was in enough to get on Merritt's hands. It's 2 impressive quick outs here in the 6th. Strikeout of Dickey, and the 2-hopper to short off the bat of Griffin Merritt.
Not only that, that buys him not only this hitter, but the next one, him being a lefty as well.
Here you go.
Long, loud strike there.
Christian Moore hit into a double play, struck out. 9 of 24, 3 doubles, 4 homers, 10 RBI in the postseason. Slugging 1,000 before this game started. Florida Gators and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Based on history, each have about a 73% chance to advance to the finals, having started 2-0.
So get my mask on.
The umpire puts his mask on, and to Ackenhausen's credit, he is working with a great deal of pace, and he's ready there. He sticks the landing.
It's a good pitch. I got it.
A 1-2-3 inning, 2 more strikeouts, and Ackenhausen is seeing innings he's never seen before.
Almost twice as many to this point. How about 2 more breaking balls? That one, or 2 more strikeouts. That one on a backup breaking ball.
He's been on cruise control all year long. He walked and scored. He hit a rope single. Dylan Cruz is coming up second in this inning. A.J. Russell back on the mound, and with Blake Money out there in the bullpen, Jay Johnson's playing with house money, the way that Ackenhausen has been pitching tonight. And oftentimes, as you all know, on the road to winning a World Series title, you need to get a performance from the unexpected guy.
Well, you absolutely do if you're coming out of losers break. It needs to be somebody that hasn't done something and save a bullpen, because if LSU is going to make their way to the finals, they not only have to win tonight, but then they got to beat Wake Forest each of the next 2 nights. Wake is rested and ready.
Time. Beach ball.
Now, every year is a night where the beach balls pour down. Is that planned again, or we kind of skip that? New traditions?
Yeah, this is kind of a sworn to secrecy thing, Rav.
Okay, my bad. It's like the pitching lab guy when asked about certain things that are gone, and there he said, that's flying too close to the sun. Up there for 20 minutes and lands in the glove of Burke. So asking about the beach balls is flying too close to the sun. That's a secret that you can't share.
Icarus.
Yes.
No.
We got letters on chest. We got the Burke family here with orange hair.
Looks good on him.
It's all about the College World Series and the things that you do in Omaha stay in Omaha. Slider 1-1.
Rookie son Jackson playing in one of the tournaments that they have around here. The Vipers from Louisville 4-0 right now.
Very good
the
team.
first 2 days. We're in the semis tomorrow.
Very good team. 1-1 to Cruz. Yes, a backdoor breaking ball, 1-2. Hey, our buddy Todd Blackledge is in the crowd tonight. He talk about baseball fans. Battle of quarterbacks. We had Peyton Manning here. We've got Todd Blackledge. His son Owen is, of course, a member of the Horned Frogs. Yes, he did. Boy, that's pitching from Russell as he went with a rising fastball.
It's all the above. I mean, he is the fastball swing and miss rate this year for Russell is 44%. 44% is what you see on good breaking balls, or really good splits. You don't see it on fastballs, especially from that spot. That one just keeps rising. Just a freshman, folks. You're going to hear a lot about him in the next few years.
Until that body starts filling out.
Yeah, just in seeing what Tennessee has, they're going to be okay for the foreseeable future when it comes to arms. White.
Ball.
It's a great pitch, 94 on the corner.
Keep an eye on Tommy White. When he has 2 strikes, look on the right. Opens that foot up. Less than 2 strikes, keeps it closed.
Hit hard on the ground. That's a nice job by Ahuna to stay down on it, because that was scolded. Runs are at a premium tonight. LSU's got 2 of them. Tennessee doesn't have any. Bottom 7 coming up for the Vols. LSU's got a 2-0 lead. We welcome you back to the Men's College World Series. Team that wins stays alive. The other one goes home. And superstition. This is Tony Vitello in between innings when his team is just not scoring. We will dump the stools. That is.
Boys, we're standing up.
And then I think that's ready to be ignited if we need to go that way.
I don't think you're sitting on that.
Nope, it's not.
We're standing.
Change it up. And what hasn't changed is the guy on the mound for LSU. They're not messing with Ackenhausen at all, and he throws a strike there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Blake Burke saying Denton. Christian Scott. Wake Forest awaits the winner.
Time.
That hit him.
Get it go.
No swing. Got to check that first. And a hit batter, Blake Burke. And that is like the end for Ackenhausen. You can see a lot of LSU folks starting to get ready to stand up. Is Jay Johnson just making a stop here to discuss this, or is he going out?
Yeah, well, he's asking David Savage right now. He asked, we heard that he did, and he's going back into the dugout.
Leaving him in. He's suggested the umpires get together and perhaps review it. I think the review would show he didn't swing and it got him on the wrist.
I don't think it's reviewable. They don't swing. I think it's more on the.
LSU is challenging the hit by pitch. The previous play is under review.
Challenging the hit by pitch on this one. This also buys time for the bullpen to get ready.
If this bullpen isn't ready, I don't think they're ever going to be ready. I mean, they started in the 3rd inning.
Different personnel, though, and it did hit him right there on the wrist.
I got the bat next, but I got the wrist first.
That's Riley Cooper, who some folks thought would be the starter in this one, and they pulled the right lever and got Ackenhausen to do it instead. You want more coverage of the NCAA Men's College World Series interactive brackets? Go to ncaa.com. That's your official online home for all 90 NCAA championships. Well, Kyle, you look ahead, you got Wake Forest and you have Florida back on the field tomorrow. Generally, those days off don't kill you. They are the 1 and 2 seeds in the tournament. And you know it's TCU going up against Florida. What should we be
After
looking
review,
forward to in that game?
The call is confirmed. Hit by pitch. Batters rewarded first base.
I mean, for Florida, I think Cagliano's probably going to pitch, and that gets interesting. But here, you've got two different teams from a moving forward standpoint in the mound. Or on the mound, excuse me. I would think that they come get it down. But Tennessee is set up to make a run. I mean, they're deep enough in the bullpen. They're deep enough they can roll different starters out there. And for LSU, man, it gets iffy after this. Now, you'll mix and match and figure out what you have to do. But Tennessee moving forward to me is a much tougher matchup for Wake Forest than LSU, simply because of what they have left on the mound.
They are calling for Cooper out of the pen. The door opens and Big 38 is rolling in. Ackenhausen will walk off, but he will wait until Cooper arrives. What a start for Nate Ackenhausen, the biggest spot. And he delivers 7 strikeouts, responsible for a runner, but no runs yet.
Is copyrighted by the NCAA for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any picture, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NCAA consent is prohibited.
We're back. It's now time for tonight's Capital One rewarding performance.
I didn't think he'd go quite this long, and I'm not sure that LSU did either. But Nate Ackenhausen in a do-or-die game for LSU, trying to keep this season going, pitches into the 7th inning. Longest outing on the year coming in was 3 2/3. Shades of Michael Roth, 2010, up the road. That. South Carolina came in, didn't have a start, and went CG. Ackenhausen won't go CG, but he's put LSU in a really good position.
I think he's going to be well taken care of over there in Baton Rouge with this outing, especially in walk-ons.
Hell yeah, baby. Let's go.
So Riley Cooper will step on the mound. The junior pitched against this team earlier this week. He struck out Christian Moore to conclude the 8th inning of that game, and he mouthed the words, "Ain't nobody can touch me" to the sky. And right now, he's speaking the truth. His last 4 postseason appearances: Arkansas in the tournament, the SEC tournament, Oregon State in the regional, Kentucky in the Supers, Tennessee in the World Series. 2 runs through 12 1/3 innings pitched.
Time.
It's a good song, though.
Okay.
Saying hi to us.
It was a good song.
Glory days.
David Savage didn't want to use it. Oh, wow. I think they missed it.
That's a reality check for Cooper.
Good. Turn the music back on.
Burke got hit, and now Denton out of play. Last time that the lefty gave up a earned run was June 5th. He's given up 7 hits and 3 walks, striking out 15 through those appearances I had just mentioned. Denton, then Scott on the ground and smothered the flip. They got 1. They'll only get 1. Great effort, Jordan Thompson, to stop the ball and then get up and flip to second.
Yeah, Thompson going to his left. Nice play, keeping the ball in the infield and then tossing it over to Dugas. Not a lot behind the toss, and no chance to be able to get Zane running down the line. But they do get an out. Seems like Jay Johnson is wondering if that slide at second base.
No, there's nothing wrong there.
Nothing wrong on that one.
Yeah, Jordan Thompson saying he hit me with his arm. I mean, it came up a little, but he went straight into the base.
And that is Thompson, who now again is over on the second base side, while Dugas moves to the shortstop for Christian Scott. 1 down, 7th inning. Didn't get the 1 up, didn't get the 1 down.
Ball.
Scott struck out and flew out to center. Does get that call. 2 balls and a strike, and a big one to get back in the count. On the corner, he has been in the strike zone, and the balls that have been misses are really, really close.
That one was off.
2-2. That's in there. That's a strikeout.
Well, take advantage of it. They give you a little bit more room for one, then go right back to work, and that's exactly what Riley Cooper's doing here. Take the fastball, elevate it when he gets to 2 strikes, 2 quick outs since coming into this ball game. I think you gotta see if you can run into one here. It should be Dreiling, I would think. Dylan Dreiling, the freshman. Hayes, Kansas, boys. You got Hayes, about a 4-hour drive from here, Eddie. You got that, don't you? How far to Hayes?
I'll Google it if you want.
Maybe 4 hours.
This looks like power right here.
7 home runs of power with the 20 RBIs. Well, we've put the stools down, and that didn't work, and now we'll tap the pinch hitter off the bench and Dreiling. Late innings, their magic has been there for teams here in Omaha, and that is what Tennessee is hoping for with Dreiling. He got one to hit there, and he fouled it off.
There's some juice in here. Dreiling's got a chance to be an everyday starter next year for Tennessee. Got plenty of starts this year. 7 home runs on the year and just 95 at bats.
Not an easy task going left on left.
Ball's outside.
By a little, 2 balls and a strike. This is a big at bat here for Dreiling. Ahuna's hit the ball really well. He's on deck, the leadoff hitter, and now it's 3 balls and a strike.
Ball 4.
Now the Tennessee fans start to get more involved, more interested as Maui Ahuna will come to the plate. He lined out hard, and then he singled and doubled.
Everything has been up the middle. Lined out to the shortstop, singled up the middle, then doubled into left center field.
Swings at that one. You can see again Dugas, who is your second baseman. He is over in shortstop's position. And they move Thompson to second base with the left-handed hitter up, but he's gone the other way. Denton's at second. He rolls one slowly, and it will be Thompson, and he cannot make the play. Wow, they flipped them all night between short and second, depending on where the hitter was swinging from. And an error loads him up for Hunter Ensley, the 2-hitter.
And they've been doing this all night and all series long, switching sides right here, and he rushes because of Ahuna's speed. I thought he was going to go to second right here instead. picks up the look towards first before seeing it into the webbing. That cost him right there. Now base is loaded. More pressure on Cooper here.
Jay Johnson comes out for another meeting.
I know they've done this a lot, not only today during the series and during the season. But that's a lot. That's a lot of work for a middle infielder and a different look, going from short to second, back and forth.
Unless I missed it, I haven't seen him really do it much during the season. In fact, I don't remember him doing the season at all.
It's been every at bat that a
left-handed
hitter is.
No, I know today. I know
Yeah.
today, but I'm saying historically,
Yeah.
I don't remember it happening.
What we do remember happening is coaches sometimes do things differently when you get here to Omaha. There's no doubt about it.
100%.
Huge spot in this game. Bottom 7, trailing 2-zip. Hunter Ensley and Riley Cooper.
Ball.
Misses away. Zane Denton's at third base right now. Second base and first base both occupied and really good speed at first base. Ooh, didn't look good on that pitch from Cooper. He threw him a changeup away. Dreiling can run at second as well. Another great pitch and a chase by Ensley. It was way off. And now Riley Cooper's ahead 1-2.
He hasn't thrown one in the zone yet. Both strikes swinging in this at bat were both out of the zone, and that gets the Tiger fans to their feet here in the 7th.
And Cooper follow Ackenhausen and get out of it. 1-2. Well, that was one that he had swung at last time. He will not go there as Ensley evens it up 2-2. It's a full count.
Ensley 296 versus the fastball. 326 versus a slider. 056 versus a curveball.
3-2. Bases loaded. 2 down. And a squibber to first with all sorts of spin on it, but it works beautifully for LSU. Cooper is beside himself. Morgan fields it and steps on the bag. The Vols unable to score. Ain't nobody can touch me. And this is tonight. Same emotion, fewer words, still 2-0. Huge out recorded with the bases loaded as we welcome you back to the NCAA Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. What happened, fellas? We moved the stools. I mean, we had it right where we wanted. The situation was ripe for a Tennessee big hit, and it did not appear.
Aaron Combs has appeared. 26 times he's been on this year. And the strikeout to walk numbers for this Tennessee team up and down. About as good as you're going to find in the country. 39 strikeouts, 21 innings. He has walked just 7. It's a little different look. It's lower 3/4, almost sidearm, with a curveball that right-handers have swung at and missed almost 60% of the time that they've seen it this year. The stuff is really good for Combs.
It's really good for most of these guys from Tennessee. And he starts with a lefty. It's Morgan, who's 2 for 3 tonight with a single and a double. And a 2-seamer to start him off at 91 miles an hour. Last time Tennessee threatened, LSU had an answer. Let's see if they can answer after stranding the bases loaded, and they may. That's a hit batter, so Morgan goes to first base. He's been on 3 times tonight.
This is a big time break right here. Right in the hip.
Gavin Dugas is the cleanup hitter. Lined out, struck out, reached on an arrow. Look out!
Oh, no.
Thankfully, he appears to be okay, but that one came high and tight, and that's going to send him to first. Back-to-back hit batters.
That's scary right there. When I was at Florida State, I got hit right in the face.
Got him on the shoulder.
It's not a good feeling seeing that ball come right after you when you're squared up. Good job of getting out of the way.
Yeah, but a bad job hitting two, and now you got to deal with Beloso. He has reached safely 3 times. A single, a walk. He's got an RBI in the first. And again, after the Vols had him loaded, here comes LSU with a chance to tack on to a 2-0 game.
Good job by Beloso right there, showing bunt, squaring around. Infield defense set up for the bunt.
Cade Beloso, we're going to go Matt Stairs.
Yeah, I see that.
Just a professional hitter, left-hander, bat-to-ball skills, outstanding.
I wasn't even sure if he was going to play this year. I mean, was a really good player for LSU. Tore his ACL last year before the season, and then he was out. Didn't know if he wanted to come back. Thought maybe that was going to be it.
Well, it was opening day, right? During practice.
It was either BP before him. It was right before the beginning of the season. They're glad he did. They're glad he chose to come back because he's been a big part. Tennessee has chosen to go back to the bullpen. They got plenty of options. Rough one for Combs, though. Comes in, hits the first 2. Tigers in business here in the 8th, already up 2.
Might as well be me. Might as well be me.
Ackenhausen's been outstanding. Philly and Rhino delivered the goods right there, and it is 2-0 LSU over Tennessee in the top of the 8th inning. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs, 7 Ks. Etching his name into LSU lore was Ackenhausen, who hadn't gotten more than C. So 11 outs in a game. Right? You said 3 2/3 was
3 2/3 was the longest coming in. Yeah.
He was phenomenal tonight. So Seth Halverson takes over, and he can sling it too. And has to have better control than Combs, who was guilty of hitting 2 men, and that's why we get 2 men on and nobody out. With the Tigers up 2-0.
Halverson would be a starter on the weekend for just about anybody else in the country. When it's right, it's a big time breaking ball and a fastball that's up to 99.
Beloso, Thompson, Jobert. Those are the guys still due up for LSU as they try to build themselves some insurance. And set up a date with Wake Forest tomorrow night. Beloso swings at the first one and sends the left fielder Dickey back, still going back, now stops, and he's there to make the play. Morgan retreats. That was a hundo.
Right, the Chris Burke 100-mile-an-hour register just went up 1. We're now at 4. 4 guys have hit a C note so far in the College World Series.
Now does Caglione
could
hit 100 tomorrow?
Could. He may hit one.
1,000?
200 off the bat.
That was a big out. Here's Jordan Thompson. So there's 100. There's an 85-mile-an-hour slider on the black.
Rough night for Jordan Thompson, trying to bunt twice. Both times has popped up, and also made an error that his teammates bailed him out from.
You could forget all that with a hit here, though. And he will not offer with that.
Absolutely.
These things were cardboard for like the first 5 or 6 innings. It's a bit different right now. It's blowing in, but it's not what it was about an hour ago. It'll fly a little bit more now.
Just foul. And you know, there are different guys sometimes where you have at-bats where you're a little more comfortable, and Thompson may have that experience with Halverson. Small sample size, but he's 2 for 3 with a double against him this year. And he obviously hit that one pretty hard.
He can turn a fastball around too. Thompson's a real good fastball hitter, and it could be the discussion right here. I see a lot of mound visits, 1-2.
Now, mound visits almost stung Florida in their game, where they reached the maximum and they had to take out their closer. They're bringing a freshman who survived. Led to some anxious moments during the game and some moments of reflection after the game.
This one's interesting.
Well, Halverson looks like he's coming out of the game.
This one's interesting. I mean, you liked Halverson to start. Gets Peloso on a foul ball, gets Thompson to 1-2, and now they'll go to Camden Sewell, which is a totally different look. And this is low 3/4, upper 80s, but a guy that can roll you a double play, and I got to think that's what Tony Vitello is thinking right here. Try to steal 2 outs with 1 pitch. Sewell will inherit the 1-2 count.
Beautiful picture of the Bob Carey pedestrian bridge. The BKP sun fades. The Men's College World Series presented by Capital One. What is in your wallet? And that's a shot that could be on a wall. That is beautiful.
What direction are we pointing now?
East.
Sun sets in the east here in Omaha. It's a
Well,
rarity here in North America.
When the camera is faced to the west,
East, he
see that.
says, to the setting sun. Just wanted to know.
That's the east over there.
Yeah,
the sun's in the west.
About the shot. I was talking about the shot that you just referenced. Camden Sewell's looking about west right now. This is low 3/4, really good sink, and I got to think the reason here is because you're hoping for a ground ball.
Because it's
obviously,
rare.
Well, yeah, it's really
this is
rare.
rare.
I mean, Halverson just hit 100 and left with a 1-2 count. But you got Thompson from the right side, then Gilbert from the left side. 2 base runners on with 1 out. Yeah, I would have been interested to hear what that conversation was on the mound.
I need a double play, bottom line.
I think that's
Fly ball pitcher that's on the mound, swing and miss pitcher that's on the mound, but with 2 strikes, you think that he could put him away.
Yeah, swing and miss pitcher. Well, both of these teams, every team in college basketball, baseball, and certainly in the SEC, has scouting reports. There's no secrets anymore between these teams. So Thompson is well versed in what Sewell has. So Morgan is out there at second. Dugas at first. A 1-2 pitch. That was a slider that was a little bit up.
Hitters are hitting 164 off the slider, 152 off the changeup, 227 off the fastball. But the slider is the pitch. Like it's the least amount of ground balls that he throws.
Two-seamer's going to get him more ground balls.
Sewell to Thompson. And that ball is pounded down the line and left. Another hanger, and he lives to throw another one to Thompson.
I don't understand the pitch selection. I just don't. I mean, Tennessee got bailed out right there because Thompson was on it. He's just a tick early, but that feels like one that he's going to be on. You got a 1-2 count. Take that two-seamer, start right on the inside part of the plate, and let it run. You're not gonna.
They're set up outside and up.
Ball's outside.
Tried to backdoor. Yeah, almost did.
It's that late movement right there.
1 out, 2-2 pitch. And this one is beaten into the ground. Ahuna flips. Oh, he dropped it on the transfer. They will get the out at second base. They had a chance to do what Vitello wanted and get the double play. But Moore couldn't hold on to it and transfer it effectively.
That was it right there, anticipating it. Watch when it goes into the glove. He's already looking the other way, not securing the baseball. Would have been an easy 6-4-3.
Yeah, Jay Johnson's he's gonna challenge this. And at least he's gonna discuss it. I don't know how you can discuss this and not challenge it. I mean, I don't think Jeff's going to change his mind on this. Jeff Head's the second base umpire. What he said was it was on the transfer, obviously, that he caught it and then dropped it on the transfer. They will not challenge it.
Did you have it on the transfer?
I did.
I sure did.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking right now with the 2 outs and he's out right there. That's a good call.
Here's Braden Jobert.
Ball outside.
Ball 1. Jobert, his dad once found a small Jobu statue for Braden while he was at a community college.
Yes.
Pedro Serrano was, of course, the Cleveland player in the movie who had his own Jobu statue on an altar inside his locker. Shot of rum, cigar ashes, and he could hit the curveball. First night he had his own statue, 2 homers, and he had the statue in his backpack.
Time.
And he got plunked on the knee to load the bases. 3rd hit batter of the inning.
That one hurts. Got all bone right there. Curveball or not.
Jobu can't do much about the pain.
That is all bone.
Well, they got the ground ball. They had the double play. The strategy would have worked. But on the transfer, it was dropped. And now the bases are loaded for Milazzo, the catcher. Look out, that one gets by. That's going to bring the run in from 3rd. Trey Morgan touches home, and it has come apart for Tennessee's vaunted arms.
And if you look back at the top of the 6th inning, the way that LSU scored the run was the inability of being able to throw the ball correctly to first base. Runner scores on the throwing error, and here with 3 hit by pitches, 5 total hit by pitches in the game. You get a wild pitch, scoring after the error.
Milazzo stays up with 2 down and the 1-0. Slow roller back to the pitcher, and Sewell will fire, and he will be out. But the error on what would have been a double play cost him. The hit batters cost him. The wild pitch hurt him bad. It's 3-0. My boots are shaking. Like I am literally shaking. So he went over, put his arm around Salento, and they had a laugh about it. And then he delivered the biggest hit of his career at Wake Forest. But he called time himself. That was not initiated by the 3rd base coach. It was Bennett Lee at the plate who had 2 strikes on him and said, I got to have a shot.
I got to talk to somebody. Come here, Billy. We got to talk.
He's a beautiful kid, Bennett Lee, man. Yeah. Post-game interview was outstanding, composed. Could see why he's a great catcher, and when he showed up to Wake, he was immediately a leader in that clubhouse and on that team with that staff. All right, bottom 8 we start. It's now 3-0 LSU.
Oh.
Cooper's got 6 outs to try to get through this thing and set up that matchup with Wake Forest tomorrow night. 3-4-5 for Tennessee. 1 ball, 1 strike.
All right.
Paxton King is now in right field for LSU, and that is slapped down the 3rd baseline on a real good piece of hitting by Jared Dickey. And that's what the Vols need, base runners, and they got one here with Dickey on.
Exactly what you have to do. Leadoff hitter gets on right here. Fastball up in the zone, just slapping at it, not trying to do too much.
It's just letting it travel. Wasn't that really well done?
See Tommy moving over to his left as well. Dickey getting
Griffin Merritt. You look out at that field, they are shaded up the middle, but the outfield is so crowded. And while the wind has died a little bit, there are flashes back to the early 2010s, 11s when we first moved here. It's hard to score runs tonight when you eliminate that long ball. Swing and a miss.
I just feel like it's going to fly different now than it was 2 hours ago. The wind is different. It's not blowing the way that it was earlier. I would be careful playing shallow.
Double play ball here. Thompson, Dugas, and a scoop at first by Morgan.
That's one thing LSU's been able to do all evening long, and that's turn it. 6-4-3. Thompson securing it this time from the shortstop position. Beautiful feed over to Dugas, and Dugas once again throwing it over to sure-handed Morgan at first.
2 down for the Vols. Here's Moore. This one is tagged pretty well to left center field, and it is really deep, and it is off the base of the wall. Well, the double play was huge as Moore jumped all over it. His 13th double of the year, and he is at second base.
Strong hands right there. Quick hands as well. You see the exit velocity at the top. Changeup. Gets extended.
Look out now. This dude can hit it to the moon if he gets it.
Once again, they shift on the infield with Thompson going to second base and Dugas at shortstop. Burke's got 16 of those moonshots so far this season. He got jammed. Here comes Thompson again, and this time the shortstop playing second will make the play, and Tennessee will go quietly in the 8th. LSU tries to add to a 3-0 lead and move on to a semifinal game against Wake Forest. There is chasing history, and then there's chasing down one of the legends. Ben McDonald and Paul Skeens, currently separated by 2 strikeouts. The SEC single season record. 15.7 Ks per 9, and that's about 4 more than Ben. And 114 innings pitched. That's a higher percentage. Yeah.
That's a lot higher percentage.
That's a lot. So he pitched Saturday against Tennessee, and the burning question, KP, how many games do they have to win in order to see him again?
I think he would be very persuasive in wanting to pitch Thursday.
One of the great members of our production crew asked him if there was any chance he would pitch tonight, and he looked at him as he would look at him and said, "No, sir."
Attaboy, Rad.
Not to that arm. Thursday would be major league rest. I think if they get that far, you could see Skeens. Still 3 outs to go for LSU here, and chance to add more here in the 9th.
Pearson then the top of the order.
Ball, it's outside.
2 balls, no strikes.
Ball.
Sewell was brought in a 1-2 count with the idea of getting a ground ball double play. He got the ground ball, and Tennessee couldn't turn the double play. As a result, the extra out gave him another run, so it's 3-zip. And 3-1 to Pearson. He's going to give him that 3-2. Get a chance to see Cruz and White bat one more time for LSU.
Ball 4.
Good take.
How about LSU? LSU with runners on is 1 for 11 in the evening in this game. 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, yet they have a 3-0 lead. The inability of being able to field the baseball for Tennessee has given them the opportunity to score some runs.
That and the ability, unfortunately, to hit batters. They got a run last inning, didn't have a hit. Here's Cruz. His eyes lit up when he saw that ball stay up in the zone, and he'll have another chance as it goes to the seats. So we talked about the eye test. There's also a cognition test, an S2 cognition test that a couple of neuroscientists created to measure how an athlete processes information and makes split-second decisions. The Tigers football program has been using it for about a decade. Jay Johnson's a huge believer, and guess what? Cruz tested way above average on that one too.
Yeah, the S2 guys are taking off across all sports right now. Big league, NFL, NBA, a lot more college football programs, but now baseball getting into the mix too.
0-2. That's outside. 1-2.
S2 is one of the biggest reasons that Brock Purdy was drafted by the San Francisco 49ers in the 7th round, because of what his test was on that very test. The 49ers are one of the teams that used S2 and ultimately led to them taking him in the 7th round.
1-2. That one was hung, and this one is shot to right field. That one is towards the wall. It's over. The eyes, the cognition, and the bat speed. His 8th grade coach said, that guy could play varsity for me right now. Leaves the yard. Dylan Cruz, 18th of the year, 5-0 Tigers.
Well, we said earlier, if you're going to go deep in this ballpark, it has to be down the lines. And Dylan Cruz this year has gone line to line when it comes to home runs. Breaking pitch, he sees it. Look at the eyes open up. Doesn't try to pull it, stays back, lets the ball get to him, and is strong enough to hit it over the wall and give them an extra 2 runs of padding. Yes, sir.
That was soon to be about $17 million hugging each other right there. 9 and 8 to sign.
Let's go, Tom, baby.
It's going to be a fun night, draft night for those two.
Good fun for us.
Yeah, I look forward to that. Always look forward to the draft coverage on ESPN. And there's a good pitch. Slider there. White's gone. You know, in that at bat, Cruz had another one of those early that he fouled to the seats, but you could just see he lit up when that slider hung up, and then he got another one. Here comes Vitello.
Talk about the collaboration between football and baseball, especially in LSU. Those Marucci bats, those Marucci gears. Guess what, fellas? Head athletic trainer for LSU Tigers, Jack Marucci.
Way to land it, Eddie. Way to land it. Everything has worked really well for LSU tonight, in particular their starting pitcher. We're late in the game, and Dylan Cruz has left the yard. A 2-run shot makes it 5-zip. But Nate Ackenhausen's going to be the story when this one is all said and done, and the performance he gave LSU on the mound. Cruz goes deep. 2 more runs here in the 9th, and Tony Vitello has gone to another pitcher. It's Kirby Connell on the mound.
He's been a big part of this team for a long time. Pretty much coming in just to face lefties. He's got Trey Morgan up and Gavin Dugas and Beloso after that. So 2 out of the next 3 from the left side. Nobody else up in that Tennessee bullpen right now. So you would think this is Kirby Connell's game to try to get out of the night, see if this offense can get going. Just 6 hits on the night for Tennessee.
What a night for that man right there.
Well, they were the presumptive and best team last year, the #1 seed that didn't get here to Omaha for Tennessee. And here this time they do get here. They do win a game. But it is just a difficult pill to swallow, given the talent and the expectations. Both of these schools come with expectations every single season. And they will be frequent visitors to Omaha in the coming years. But it ends so abruptly. Oral Roberts, Stanford, Virginia, all have gone home. A good night from Morgan. And this one in the hole is the first baseman missing it. The second baseman makes it, and Connell gets over there.
That's a nice play right there.
That's really good range, huh, by Moore.
That is a very well played. As soon as Burke leaves his position, got to be a quarterback right there. How tough is that, KP? Running down the line at the first.
It's a little bit easier for a left-hander just because the glove's leading you. But yeah, I mean, you got to get your steps right before you get there, because there's not enough time to catch and look down. I mean, you got to make sure you catch the ball first, and that time the ball got there just before he hit the bat.
Dugas, ball one. And now that there's more get to the ball, he has to hit a guy on the run. He made a really good throw. And some athleticism by Connell, because it wasn't a perfect feed.
Ball.
Dugas steps back in.
Ball.
Man, draft night. I'm just thinking about those two texting each other back and forth. I just took $1 less than you we're going to take to be the #1 pick.
They can't sit next to each other. Maybe both getting the exact same phone call. Will you? No. Will he? Let me ask him. I don't know. He's sitting right here.
I don't think they're going to be sitting together. Skeens
said he's going to stay home.
He's going to stay home. Head to Seattle, where we'll have our draft coverage on a 3-2. That's foul.
Oh, you never know if he invited him over, though.
True.
Big some medium rare steaks, have him come over, and everybody going to judge.
Popcorn chaser?
Why wouldn't you? Just keep it out of the wind.
Ball.
Walk to Dugas, and that brings up Cade Beloso. Well, LSU do coming into this series. We're going to have to out-hit and outscore, guys. You know, that's how we're going to win. They've hit one over the wall. They got 7 hits tonight. They got a tremendous performance from their starting pitcher, but tomorrow night's going to be the same deal. We're going to have to figure out ways to get runs off Keener and prevent a very, very good Wake Forest offense from scoring.
Hey, Bella and Nana.
Ball.
Ball one to Beloso. It's a family affair for Eduardo Perez when we come to Omaha.
Oh, yes.
Daughter's best friend, and Mickey, America's dog. Playable if the left fielder Dickey can get there. He's coming hard. He can't. Right into no man's land, and for Beloso, his 3rd hit of the night.
He'll take it. Put that one in the book as a double right here. This is perfectly placed. No chance for the three defenders to be able to get it. Dickey calling for it, but the wind continuing to knock it down.
You got a kick out of Beloso sliding into second base. Thompson retired, and we will head to the bottom of the ninth. Tennessee needs a lot. A lot of what? Points. They're down by 5. Cruz and Skeens, this is fun, and it's going to keep getting more fun for us. LSU, 3 outs away from a win. Back goes Cruz, and he's there to make the play. That's why a lot of scouts think he can stick in center field. Very, very good athlete, and he takes one away at the track from Denton.
Yeah, if you play those elite positions, first of all, if you can rake and then do this right here in elite positions up the middle. 105.4 off the bat. Mouth open, go after it. Look at those eyes, just focused on it. Running on your toes.
Strike 1 to Christian Scott.
Oh.
You know, Tony Vitello told me he doesn't think this team gets here if it didn't go through what it went last year. He said, when you sign up for this thing, you're saying, it's okay, I'm going to get embarrassed, I'm going to lose, I'm not going to look good, and it's going to hurt. And it hurt so bad last year, the fact that they stuck around for a week. They went to dinners, they took photos together. But the one thing they didn't do, no one I talked to watched the College World Series a year ago, but that pain, they said, built this team through the adversity that they went through the middle of this season.
Ratings killer.
That was a difference right there, too.
One ball, 2 strikes on the way to Scott. Yes, sir, on the inside corner, strike 3. I will say, of all the teams, and there were 8 of them here, you do those interviews with them on the day before the whole thing starts, their ability to deal with failure and everybody's conversation around that subject is incredible. It's mature. They're all aware that you're going to lose. It's really hard to get here. Trust the process, but it's a theme that the coaches seem to encourage. Let's recognize how hard this is. Kavares Tears, pinch hitter. Ball 1.
It's another one you're going to see in the middle of this Tennessee lineup next year. There's 2 home runs, but it is real juice.
One ball, 1 strike.
Only a freshman on a 1-1. Left field, and there is some juice. Pearson back, still going. Oh, he makes the catch on the track to end it. LSU stays alive, and they will meet Wake Forest tomorrow night. And perhaps a glimpse into the future as Tears sent one of the track the other way for the Volunteers, who end up losing 5-0.
Well, LSU had a game plan. They started with the lefty, they finished with the lefty, and Tennessee this year did not fare well against lefties. And Jay Johnson's plan worked to perfection.
LSU's 70th College World Series game, and they are after their 2nd shutout in the College World Series. 1993 championship. They gave us Wichita State 8-0. Cooper picks up his 2nd save of the season. And I got to believe, if you told Jay Johnson you get through this thing with 2 pitchers.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, you're going to throw a shutout. with those two pitchers. Ackenhausen's going to work you into the 7th inning. Riley Cooper's going to take you the rest of the way. A pretty good night for the purple and gold.
Here's KB.
I'm here with Dylan Cruz. You barreled up some balls. It finally took into the 9th to watch that one sail. How did it feel to finally get one out of the park?
Yeah, it was awesome. You know, wind was blowing in early in the game, so you know, push some of these balls back in to play. But it was good to get one and you know, extend the lead for us.
In order to come out of the losers bracket, you got to have some special arms, and you got that Ackenhausen today. What did he give you guys?
That was huge. That was huge for us. You know, Nate hasn't started like that in a while, so for him to come out like that and you know, go through the 7th inning, that was unbelievable. So hats off to him.
We talked about this before, this being the dream for you to be able to play in Omaha now in your final year. What's it been like to be out here?
I mean, it doesn't even match the expectations that I was expecting it to be, but it was unbelievable, you know, but we still got a job to do, and you know, we got a good competition coming up ahead of us.
See you tomorrow night against Wake Forest.
Right,
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, that would be considered good competition, guys.
Yep, they fit that. Yep. Lost 10 games.
We're down to our final 4. TCU in Florida tomorrow at 2. Wake Forest, LSU at 7 o'clock Eastern time. Ackenhausen was really the story tonight, and those are the type of efforts you're going to need if you're going to keep this dream alive, and it gets tougher tomorrow night against Wake.
Yeah, I got to tell you, if you came into this game and you said Ackenhausen going for LSU, Beam going for Tennessee, I think you would have looked at it and said Tennessee's going to win this game 7 out of 10 times. It was all LSU tonight.
It was, and all the hit batters, the misplays, Tennessee's going to look back on this one, and they knew they didn't have their A game. We'll see you at 2 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. For Kyle Peterson, Eduardo Perez, Chris Button, our entire crew, and our buddy who will never forget, Kyle Brown. We miss you, buddy.
Yeah.
We love you. So long.